It's noon on Wednesday, March 16th, and this is news that you can use from YAA with your dear hosts, Zach and Ray. And if I may, I'd like to throw out a challenge. Show us your guns, baby. Come on.
Happy 100th episode.
Come on, for the 100th.
For the 100th?
Yeah, show it.
I think my arm's like, oh, it's flying by the microphone. There you go. Okay.
What the hell is behind us?
The future, but it's actually in front of us. Here's what we're going to talk about today, Ted.
Yes.
Will car dealerships exist in 2030? And the reason I thought about this, and thank you to everyone who's here with us today. John Kay's here. John Chipola is here with us as well. Jimmy's here. First Last is here. We've got some congratulations on the 100th show as well.
Yeah,
thank you.
100 shows. Go
we really
figure.
appreciate that.
I mean, there were those who said, well, we wouldn't make it to 2.
I mean, there was potential there. We've got Pedro here with us. We've got Mark here as well. Yomar, SMG, Ruben. Here's what I want to talk about today, Dad.
Yeah.
Capital One. You heard of them? Big bank.
Yeah. I think they're your bank.
They set up a lot of car loans. Okay. They put out, and they do a lot of floor plan as well.
Yeah.
They put out their 2022 Capital One car buying outlook.
Okay.
So what this is, and I'm actually going to jump all the way to the methodology. What this is they interviewed or surveyed, I should say. Let me zoom in and there we go. They surveyed consumers and they surveyed car dealers.
Yeah.
Okay. They interviewed or surveyed 2,200 U.S. adults ages 18 plus. Okay. And 643 of those people have purchased a car in the last 6 months and are considered current buyers. And 1,557 self-reported that they were planning to purchase a car within the next 2 years. And they were considered future buyers. Okay.
Okay. Yeah, that would qualify as
They
future
also surveyed
Yeah.
530 current dealers.
buyers. Yeah.
The 530 respondents work for an automobile dealership as an owner, general manager, F&I director, sales manager, internet manager, or in the business development center at the dealership with an approximate annual sales volume of at least $1 million.
Well, that's like 10 cars. I mean, what the hell is that? Sales volume of $1 million. I mean, that's nothing.
Yeah, okay. That's fair. That's fair.
I mean, the average transaction price is just
$50,000.
under $50,000.
Right, so that's the first hole to poke in this.
Yeah.
But
it doesn't take much to get to that million, does it?
we both read this, okay?
Yeah.
And if anyone wants to play along at home, let me toss the link in the
Yeah.
chat really quick. This research is pretty interesting, and it led to today's question. Like, will car dealerships even be around? There you go. I just popped it in the chat.
You are such a good fella.
All right, whoops, I clicked on the wrong button. All right, quit. I got to quit that. There we go.
Okay.
All right.
I hate when you do that.
Perceptions of transparency.
Yes.
Over the past year, car buyers and dealers' perceptions of transparency in the car buying process have trended in opposite
Go
directions.
figure.
Dealers report the process has become more transparent, while buyers report it's less transparent.
Yeah.
Let's look at this.
Why do you think that is?
That's what I want to discuss.
Okay.
This is why I asked the question: will dealerships still be around in 2030? This was the question.
Yeah.
How transparent is the car buying process today for consumers?
Yes.
Dealers last year, 54% of them said it's transparent.
Yeah.
Okay. A small subset said that it's not transparent, and a rather large subset said neither. In 2022, dealers
Yeah.
said 77% of them said it's transparent.
Yeah.
A very small subset said it's not transparent.
Yes.
That was a 23-point gain.
Yes.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Buyers last year said 40% of them said it was transparent.
Yes.
This year, 26% said it was transparent.
Yes. Do you know why that is?
A 14-point decline.
Yeah. Do you
Go
know
ahead.
why that is?
What's that?
Because dealers never bother to look at this through a consumer's eyes. They always look at it through their eyes. And in their eyes, oh my God, we're doing everything to be as transparent as we possibly can for the customers. Because the dealers, well, they'll tell you, the customer, what it is that you need to know, as opposed to listening to the customer and providing them with what it is that they're asking for. So when a dealer thinks they're being transparent, they're not. They're still cloaking everything in what dealers do, as opposed to truly being transparent for the customer. And the customer perceives that.
Oh, absolutely. And this is the perfect example of how out of touch this current business model is with reality. And that's why, again, why it led me to the question for today's show, which is, will they even be around? Because you can't have, again, you do the math here. That's a 37-point spread
Yeah.
between how the seller feels and how the buyer feels
Yes.
about transparency.
Yes.
I mean, that's and you don't have to look that far. Gallup poll, trustworthy professions. I always reference this. Gallup does an annual poll
Yes.
on the trustworthiness of professions.
Yes.
The bottom of the list is car salespeople and members of Congress, and they're tied at 8. Okay,
Wow.
because that's 2020. So percentage of people who rate that profession as having very high honesty and ethical standards.
Yes.
Perspective here, nurses got an
Yes.
89.
Yes.
Okay, so people don't trust. So what's interesting here is the dealership is not just the sales department, though, and that's what I think is important to be clear about. The sales process is obviously screwed up, and consumers don't like it, and dealers think it's better, and they're making more money than ever before.
That's why dealers think it's no better.
Then you have, we're putting out essentially like a 7-year timeline. Then you have the news out of Ford, and likely it'll come from others as well, plus the pressure of some brands actually already selling directly to consumer. That's what makes me think the sales department of a car dealership,
Yes.
it shouldn't be here in 2030. In my opinion, the service side, I think that's a whole other discussion that we have to have. But this report that just came out just shows how glaring the disconnect is between the buyer and the seller. And I think the buyers are going to flex their muscle a little bit more in the near future than they have in the past.
I agree and I disagree.
Yeah.
And I think obviously one of our goals as part of the business is to advocate on behalf of consumers. But part of that advocating on behalf of consumers is advocating to dealers that they change the way they do business.
Which there's some research here that I'm going to pull up after you share this that kind of gets into the pieces where dealers feel more comfortable and consumers feel more comfortable.
There is the whole premise behind how a dealership works it's premised on control.
Mm-hmm.
And if the dealer keeps everything in the dark, all the information in the dark, and they dispense it when they think it should be dispensed, they think they're in control. When in reality, if they were to actually just provide customers with the information they need in order to make an intelligent decision, it would probably be better off for the dealers in the long term. One of my dreams, this is strictly a dream, but I would love at some point to be invited to the National Automobile Dealers Association convention in Las Vegas one year to speak to dealers about selling cars in a different way. I don't know, 180 degrees from the way they do today. And convince them that there's benefits to being transparent, truly transparent, not the type of transparency where they think they know what the customers should know or want to know, because they don't. They never talk to their customers. They never survey their customers to ask them what they thought about the buying process, or ask their customers how they think the buying process could be more pleasant for them. They never do that. The closest you get to that is the manufacturer sends out a survey that hardly anybody really pays attention to, and the dealers beg the customers to give them good scores, so that nobody's really interested in what the customers have to say, because the dealer body has already made up their mind as to what it is the customer needs.
No, I hear you loud and clear. And part of this process is transparency, perceived transparency versus real transparency. as a customer, I might perceive that I have transparency, but you really don't, especially when you're buying a car. Let's take a look at this piece, Dad, which is, and I'm going to pull us. Give me 1 second, gang. Boop. We're moving over here for a hot minute. All right. So this was how much of the following aspects of your customers' car purchases are done online or mostly online. I thought this was pretty interesting.
Yes.
This starts to shine a light on where consumers have the least amount of information versus the most. And again, perceived transparency, because the area where,
well, and
yeah,
if I may, perception is reality.
I know, and
Yes.
and people end up spending lots of money or
Yeah.
losing money because they don't realize, they don't know what they don't know. And that
Mhm.
happens to me. It happens to you. It
Yeah.
happens to all of us. Car buyers spend 53% of them start researching vehicles online.
Yes.
And part of the reason, the whole reason we built our own car search was to help them be more educated going into it. Instead of seeing that advertised price and thinking, okay, I'm going to buy this car for $36,000 and maybe I can negotiate them down to $35,500. No, think about the total price.
Yes.
Think about the fact that the vehicle actually is going to cost you $40,000 out the door. That's why we built that. And that's where most people actually start their online process.
Yes.
Same with researching local inventories, making sure the price is fair. What resources do current car buyers have in that area that is not actually BS? Like TrueCar is probably where a lot of people go, and that's perceived transparency because you're not actually getting transparency. You're getting lead farmed out to dealerships. So it's interesting to see that not as many people are actually doing kind of like price negotiation pressure testing, and that's why we built the market price report to help with that. Selecting preferred model, I think you do a lot of that on the car search sites.
Yes.
This one, Dad, understanding financing options. 33% of respondents do online research to understand their financing options. That needs to be 100%.
It should be.
That surprised me and scared me, honestly. Because if you're not coming into a dealership and then 38% get pre-qualified for financing.
Yeah, and those other 62%, what are you doing? You need to know where you stand as far as potential interest rates are concerned.
And hear me out here. Last one, discussions about pricing with the dealer. Only 30% of people do that in advance of going into a dealership. This research also talks about how most future car buyers anticipate going to 2 or 3 dealerships. So this research even starts to suggest dealerships aren't going away. People are still going to go into them.
Yeah.
But this about what you're doing online in advance, this says to me that if we get these numbers up, then maybe it breaks down some of the traditional systems that are really profitable for dealerships and not super equitable for consumers, i.e. knowing what a fair price is before you go into the dealership, knowing where you have leverage and finance, etc.
But discussions about pricing with dealers and why that doesn't happen prior to going into the dealership, it's because the dealers won't do it.
It's true.
You can ask them a direct question, and the indirect answer you get is, well, when are you planning on coming in? Have you driven the car yet? When can we set up an appointment for you to be here? Are you going to have something to trade? You're going to be paying cash, or you're going to be financing?
Yeah.
Okay. And the customer might have said, I'm interested in X. What can you sell it to me for? And the answer they get is, when can you be here?
Yeah.
Okay. So if the dealers won't respect the consumer's time and actually answer a question that they've asked, as the dealer, if it happened to you as a dealer, how transparent would you think that process is? If you as a dealer principal owning a dealership, okay, wanted to go buy something somewhere else.
No, of course. It makes nothing, no aspect of this passes the common sense test. And like we all experience it. So we all get it. I want to bring up one other piece to kind of really kind of take this message home. And then let's switch gears. Let's go to the chat.
Okay.
I'm going to move us
You're
back
a gear
over.
switcher.
I am a gear switcher.
Yeah.
I'm going to move us back over here. You know what this chart is, Dad?
Fertilizer?
No.
Chart on the fertilizing business?
That chart is a visual representation of all the companies that support dealership through some sort of tech. Okay.
Wow.
So it's broken out into a numerous segments, right? That says traffic generation, conversion, retention, software. Within software, you've got reputation management, dealer websites, merchandising support, dealer management systems, right? Like there are
CRMs, key systems,
vehicle appraisal, right? There's Black Book. We talk about Black Book. This is incredible, right?
Yeah. Max Digital.
Now, hear me out here.
Yeah.
There's probably 1,000 companies on this sheet,
If
a
not
couple
the-
hundred.
Yeah.
There are hundreds of billions, if not trillions of dollars
Yes.
in value investment being put towards building a better dealer process that
Yeah.
makes them more profitable. What I don't understand and what frustrates me is why aren't there millions of dollars, or at least tens or 20s or hundreds of millions of dollars put towards building a better consumer experience through this process? It's absolutely nuts to me that we allow for so much money to go towards making the dealerships more profitable. Then when we get research like this from Capital One and others that says, hey, we're talking two totally different languages.
Mhm.
Again, it makes me proud of what we're building, but holy hell, we need some help. We need people to be doing the research online in advance. And you know what? We need that to not come from KBB because KBB serves the dealership.
Yes.
Craziness.
Well,
Craziness.
it's still all that money's being spent so that the dealers can keep the consumers in the dark.
Yep.
What you like to refer to as information asymmetry.
It's exactly what it is.
Okay, and so until dealers and dealer principals say to themselves, I bet we can do just as well and maybe even better than other dealers if we just become transparent with our potential customers. Until more dealers say that, it's not going to change. And
I hear you, but I think by 2030 on the sales side, you're going to see a totally different process. At least I hope. That's what I hope. Parting shot on this, then we're switching gears.
Okay, well, I think the dealerships will still be there. My hope is that the process of how they sell cars is different, and my hope is that they honor the customer by respecting the customer's time and answering their questions in an honest and forthright manner.
Fair, totally fair. All right, we've got Riptide has a question for us, Dad.
Yeah.
Let's talk about some headlines. What's your opinion on the Fed raising interest rates and its impact?
Well, I think interest, from my understanding, and trust me, I'm not an economist, and I didn't stay at a Holiday Inn Express, and I don't pretend, other than supply and demand, I don't understand much when it comes to the economy.
Yeah.
But my understanding is that to help fight inflation, you have to raise interest rates. So that's one of the reasons for raising interest rates. It's to cool spending to a certain degree. Which would hopefully bring down prices again. So if the Fed raises interest rates, then consumer interest rates are going to go up. Interest rates for car loans, interest rates for leases, interest rates for personal loans.
Even the interest rates for the floor plan at the dealership, everything
is going to go up, which is going to make things less affordable on credit. So yeah, I depending upon how many times the Fed raises rates this year, it could have a major impact as to consumer spending going forward, especially with the fact that car prices just keep skyrocketing. When the average transaction price for a new car was over $47,000, and most people aren't paying cash, they're financing a big portion of that. Well, if interest rates go up, that's going to make it less affordable.
Yep. We've got here from Giovanni. Last week, I was looking at a Ram Limited in the dealership. The site showed one price. And when I asked about the advertised price, I was told, quote, "Oh no, that's not the price." Shake my head. So that actually, just to like pull it up here really quickly, today's video over on the YAA channel, which I'll just do YAA and hopefully it pops up. Yeah, here you go. If a car dealer does this, leave immediately 5 red flags. Go check out that video. That was one of the ones that you mentioned in the video. There are some serious red flags that you need to be watching out for, and that's one of them.
Well, and I used to say this to customers when I was actively in the business. If the dealership lied to you to get you into the dealership, and we didn't, and we were straight with you, then you have a moral dilemma.
Yeah.
Who do you want to reward? The one that lied to you initially to get you there, or the one that was honest with you initially. And my hope was then and still is today that you'll reward the people that are trying to do it right. So if they advertise a price and they tell you, well, that's not really the price, then damn it, don't go there. Okay? You don't have to, it's not a red flag to run out. It's a red flag not to show up. Okay.
Well, the red flag is like an indication of danger. So the red flag is the fact that they changed the price.
Yeah. So you don't want to. So you don't
Yeah.
want to go there.
Yeah, yeah. So you don't go there. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's up to.
Yeah. Don't support those dealerships. No.
Exactly.
We're 100% on the same page.
Okay. Good.
First Last says
We're
I
on the
would
same
fly out to Vegas to watch that lecture. All right, NADA, we'll keep our phone lines open. Igor
Yeah.
says manufacturers are not interested to service cars, and manufacturers are not interested in selling used cars, so dealerships will still be around regardless, even if new cars might be sold directly. Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
We didn't even touch on. You could spend hours just talking about the service side of how
Oh my
that's
God,
going to
yeah.
evolve. Giovanni says the YA vehicle search has been on my browser history constantly since it launched. Advertised total price is great, and I wish dealer websites actually did this. Hey, so do we. In transit should be out in a couple weeks, which I'm excited about. Evan says I go to a dealer with finance in hand. Perfect. We need more and more people to do exactly that.
People need to get pre-approved for car loans before they show up at a dealership. You need to know what your credit scores are, what your credit history shows, and you need to know what you're approved for and what equals an afford. If you're a
What's a
payment buyer,
realistic? Yeah.
what's an affordable monthly payment for you? You need to know that.
Mr. Brightstar asking, is there a way to private message YAA? Indeed, there is. Let me share my screen.
There is.
We have our own forum, Dad.
Oh my God, how does this work?
There's a Brightstar. If you head to the website and then click on YAA community, that'll take you over to our community site. On the community site, create an account, either post here or you can actually, you can like send direct messages. You can click up here and send direct messages. So feel free to do that.
Wow.
All right, let me come back over here. There was
Do you have
one.
to be a premium member to do that?
You can send messages. No, I mean, I'm not. I've got 20 on red ones right now, so like,
you can send them.
yeah, you can send them. We have live chat available if you're
Yeah.
a premium member. Also, speaking of which, we have the promotion 20% off starting tomorrow. Code LUCK for St. Patrick's Day. So just stay tuned for that. Tomorrow says if a dealership won't budge on price via email, is it even worth going in person to try and negotiate? Great question, and lots of interesting things to say about this, I imagine.
Well, I guess the question that would beg to be asked is why wouldn't they be willing to budge on price via email? And if they won't, then that's a dealership to me that no, I'm not going to reward them for their bad behavior because they won't share pricing with me. By actually going in to sit down with them to see if I could get a better deal. No, go.
But at
to
the same time,
dealership
Dad,
that-
you have most leverage when you're actually there. You've said that in videos.
Your leverage is your presence, or your presence is your leverage. Yes, I've said that. But if they've already shown you via email that they won't work with you when you're requesting something, then why reward them with your presence?
Because I need to buy a car. Like you're sitting right now.
but-
You're sitting
no,
right
no,
now
no,
on this puritist, like
No,
you're in an
no.
ivory tower.
Now, wait a second. If you send emails to 5 dealerships and 3 won't give you the information that you asked
No,
for,
that
or-
wasn't
or-
that. They
or
won't negotiate.
or won't negotiate with you.
Yeah, because there's a big distinction. And difference
Okay,
there, yeah.
that won't negotiate with you via email, but 2 will.
Yeah, do the 2 that will.
Okay, and the
100%.
3
that wasn't the
won't-
question. You just created a scenario that wasn't the question. The question was this dealership won't
Yeah.
negotiate via
Yeah,
email.
should I
go in?
No,
I think yes.
I say no.
All right, we'd see differently on this one.
Well, we do.
Because you also had said, and just said a moment ago,
Your
presence
presence
is
is your leverage. Yes, I get that, but they haven't done anything to encourage you to show up there.
I know, but the question wasn't they haven't negotiated via email. Have they done anything to encourage me to show up? The question was, should I go? And I'm sitting here thinking, okay, if you got to buy a car, you should go.
And I'm thinking
You should be prepared to leave.
And
And you should also send emails out to 5 other dealerships.
Yeah, well, I'm thinking you go to the dealerships that were willing to negotiate with you a little bit.
All right, so listen to the pros because Space
Yeah.
says I won't go to a dealership without a deal in hand.
Thank you, Mario.
All right, that's fair. That's fair. Igor in the chat saying most dealerships currently pay roughly 2.5% to 3% monthly for floor plan currently for up to 90 to 120 days, and then it can go up to 3.5% just per month on floor plan. So yes, interest rates are rising, and so as the
Yes.
Fed increases interest rates, that'll increase
Yes.
the
and
floor plan costs as
dealerships, even though their new car inventory is lower than normal, their used car inventories are probably, even though the amount of vehicles might not be great, the volume or the cost average of that is inflated.
Yep.
So that they're carrying millions of dollars of vehicles
inventory,
that they're paying interest on.
Let's hit just very quickly, Pops, if you don't mind. I'm gonna play this.
Really? You gotta be kidding.
me. All right, so I found this earlier today.
Yeah, thanks for sharing.
Well, it was 21 minutes ago, so I could.
Okay.
Tesla fired an employee who posted a YouTube video of a full self-driving incident. Did you
Okay.
hear about this?
No.
This is super interesting. I guess we can. Let me make sure. All right, let me just mute it. So this is a Tesla employee who, and there's tons of videos like these online of people driving with full self-driving mode, and
Yeah.
I guess it happens right around here.
Oh, what did it hit?
A traffic pylon.
Oh, okay. Well, that's always good.
All right, let's watch.
Yeah.
So it's in full self-driving mode.
Yeah. Well,
Okay,
it's
So-
not programmed to recognize a traffic pylon.
Tesla terminated the employee 6 days after he posted the video. They haven't announced why.
Yeah.
He was John Burnell, who worked on the data annotation team for Tesla's autopilot system, received a separation agreement from the company on February 11th, just under a week after he posted the video that now has 180,000 views.
It's not enough views to get fired over.
Burnell said in a phone interview that while his manager refused to put the reason for his firing in writing, he was told it was in part due to the improper use of full self-driving. Interesting. And that software is running on 60,000 vehicles right now in the United States. I found this to be
Yeah.
really, you got to be kidding me for 2 reasons. One,
Yeah.
terrible way to get terminated.
Yeah.
And secondarily, if you're using Tesla full self-driving, it's not full self-driving quite yet.
So it's PFSD.
Partially. Yeah.
Partial full self-driving.
We've got Rap a Mentor reminding me, you're arguing with your dad again. You're not always right as you think you are. No, trust me, I recognize that. Like,
Yeah, but doesn't stop him from
Doesn't stop
arguing
me.
with his dad.
it's part of life.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, Pops, let's call it a show for today. Again, we've got the St. Patrick's Day promotion starting tomorrow. We have our 101st episode tomorrow, which feels like a new beginning.
Yeah.
And yeah, things are feeling pretty good. Not a lot of news
Yeah.
today. and that's
Happy
okay.
100th.
Congrats, Pops.
Oh, thank you. And congrats to you for having the courage to do this on a daily basis.
I appreciate you doing it with me. Thanks, everyone, for joining us. We'll see you back here tomorrow.
Yeah, tomorrow at noon for more news that you can use from YAA with Zach and Ray.
First, last wants to know, what will dealerships do with the lot space once they adapt to having less than half their old inventory numbers? I'm telling you, all those Marshalls department stores.
Either that, or they're going to hope that sporting arenas get built near them so that they can turn
Become
them into
like
parking
sports
lots.
books. Oh yeah, parking lots. Theaters.
Yeah.
There's some
Nobody
options.
goes to the movie theater anymore.
See you guys.
Bye bye, everybody.